The Washington football team, or the Washington Commanders, or the team that plays in DC, whatever you want to call them, they have traded for Carson Wentz. And I'm here to tell you that that does not move the needle for this team at all. And don't be surprised if they draft a quarterback this upcoming draft. I'm talking about it right after the number. Is good people? What is good people? My name is JeffLightsYJr here at the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, today I'm here to talk about the big trade that took place in the NFL, the big trade that just recently took place, not Russell Wilson. We already covered Russell Wilson. We're talking about Carson Wentz is headed to play for the team that plays in Washington, the Commanders. He's going to go play for the Commanders, the Indianapolis Colts. They just is like, nah, to hell with Carson Wentz. We're giving up on the Carson Wentz experience after giving up a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and other type of picks to get him. They trade him out for a package that's centered around two third-round picks that could potentially end up turning into two second-round picks. But regardless, it's just a bunch of picks. They lose out on their old picks. They bring in some new picks to get rid of Carson Wentz because of the way he played down the stretch. Essentially, the Colts are trading away Carson Wentz because he lost to the Raiders at home and he lost to Jacksonville Jaguars for an opportunity to get into the playoffs. When it came down to clutch moments, just like he often failed in Philly, he failed in Indianapolis, and Indianapolis was like, nah, we'll get in the QB market for the fourth year in a row. We don't care. We just don't want Wentz. And they sent them out. And that some people feel like that was a bad move. Some people feel like they kind of gave up on him too early. A lot of folks feel like that, he did the best that he could with the lack of weapons. Let's not say like the Indianapolis Colts have the same receiver room as like the Rams or something, or even the Bengals or somebody like that. Like the receiver room is it's okay. You got T.Y. Hilton, older guy, missed a lot of games last year. Michael Pittman, a solid receiver, but you did have the best running back in the NFL. You did probably have the best or second best offensive line in the NFL. You had a really good defense anchored by the best linebacker in the NFL in Darius Leonard. So, there's pros and cons because Wentz did throw for 27 touchdowns, only 7 picks, did have a 95 QB rating, but also down the stretch, he lost games that he shouldn't have lost. He shouldn't have lost to the Raiders. Say what you want, as dysfunctional as the Raiders are, and I'm a Raiders fan. Should have lost that game at home. I was actually at that game. Shout out to Raiders Nation. We did good. And you damn sure shouldn't have lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's why Colts fans are happy to see Wentz walk out the door. And what about the Commanders, the team that actually traded for Wentz? Well, the Commanders don't get too excited about this trade because there's a couple of reasons not to get too excited about this trade. One, if you put too much on Carson Wentz, he has shown that he is fragile. He has shown that he's able to break. He has shown that he does not come up big in big moments. He gets hurt a lot. He doesn't come up big. And when you put too much on his plate and when it's winning time, he's not a winner. The point blank period. It was winning time in Indianapolis those last 2 games of the regular season. He's shrank. It was winning time in Philly, and he shrank or he got hurt, and Nick Foles came in and made the plays that needed to be made to win those games. So when it comes to winning time, Carson Wentz isn't that good, and that's why Philly was so quick to move off of him because he was fragile and he didn't come up clutch in winning time. That's why Indianapolis was able to move off of him because he was fragile. He wasn't good for the locker room, and they were able to move off of him, and they were like, to hell with whatever we lost. We just bring back something because we don't want to be in the Carson Wentz business. And so don't be surprised if the same thing happens in Washington. I think a couple of things are happening in Washington, though. They're trading for Carson Wentz because they want to be relevant right now. And it was cheap. You trading for him essentially pennies on a dollar. And he's only $28 million a year. And you're like, oh, $28 million a year for a guy that's not even that good. I get what you're saying, but quarterbacks that are any good, or any decent, are going to cost you 30 plus. Think about this. Rodgers has got $50 million a year. Allen, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, all these guys are going to get 30, 40 plus million. You're not getting quarterbacks, a good one or even a decent one, under 30 million anymore. Salary cap keeps going up. Teams have to pay these quarterbacks. These quarterbacks want big money. These quarterbacks are looking at Rodgers' deal and Mahomes' deal and Allen's deal and the deal Lamar is going to get and the deal Russell Wilson's got and the deal Deshaun Watson got even a couple of years ago. And they're like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We need to be up there. So getting a quarterback for $28 million isn't bad because after next season, you can get rid of him and you don't have a big salary cap hit. Another thing, Washington has the number 11 pick in this draft. Washington has the number 11 pick in this draft, and a guy by the name of Malik Willis could fall to you at 11. And you could take your future quarterback and Malik Willis and have Wentz as a bridge guy. Wentz is a guy, don't get me wrong, Wentz is not the answer in Washington. Wentz is not going to lead you to no Super Bowls. Wentz is not going to do, like, he's going to make you better. He's an upgrade over Ryan Fitzpatrick, an upgrade over Taylor Heineke, an upgrade over those guys you had in Washington. But he's not your guy. He's not the guy. And Washington has a roster that if you plug in the guy, can make a lot of noise. And so you can get a guy like Malik Willis, who I believe could be the guy. He's going to need some time, but I think he could become the guy eventually. And, I mean, I'm just knock on wood, not to wish injury on anybody. The chances of Carson Wentz staying completely healthy in the entire year, they're slim. They're pretty slim. So you bring in a guy, potentially. Now, Malik Willis has skyrocketed up draft boards because he just killed it at the Senior Bowl, and he really, really smacked it out the park at the NFL Combine. Just knocked it out the park. From the interviews to the performance, big, strong, fast, with a cannon for an arm. So he might not be there at 11. But I think you can get a Malik Willis, possibly. I think you could definitely get Kenny Pickett at 11. Or you could wait till like the second round or later in the first round to get a guy like Desmond Ridder or a guy like Sam Howell and have Carson Wentz be your bridge quarterback. Now, the only guy, I think Malik Willis is the best prospect as far as quarterback, but I don't think Carson Wentz is your long-term solution. I think you can use some of your draft capital to leverage and possibly get a quarterback next year. But Carson Wentz isn't your long-term solution. Washington, you watched him play. He played for the Eagles for a long time. You saw Wentz, and the thing is, Wentz ain't the guy that used to play for the Eagles. He's a lot worse now. No disrespect. He ain't that same guy. Not the same guy at the beginning of his Eagles career. More towards the end of his Eagles career is what he is now. And Washington fans understand, but they needed to upgrade the quarterback position. But don't be surprised if Washington goes out and tries to make a move for Malik Willis. And you get Malik Willis, you add a receiver or a weapon in the second or third round to add with Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel, I want to say. You got some nice pieces with that defensive front, led by Chase Young coming back off injury, Montez Sweat, those guys. You can make some noise. You can make some noise with Washington. Just don't think Carson Wentz is your solution. But you can make some noise. You can make it to the playoffs. You can beat the Eagles. You can fight with the Cowboys. Now that the Cowboys losing Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin is the best receiver in the division. You can make some noise. We'll see what happens. But Carson Wentz is your long-term guy. Just not. He's an upgrade, but he's not. You'll see when it comes to winning time. I'm telling you, Washington, you're going to see, if you haven't already, you're going to see why Carson Wentz is your guy moving forward. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYjr at the Black Boss channel with Victor Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please sure to hit that thumbs up button. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That's at JLightsy7. I post all my content there first. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.